Greetings, great things. It is Q Talks. This is Black Swan Theory, and this is episode one of the Black Swan podcast. So, I really want to thank my viewers, my listeners, and my subscribers from YouTube for being here. And I also want to start off by saying I am currently using my phone and my laptop to record this because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to stitch the audio together. So if my eyes are all over the place, please excuse me. I'm not actually sure which camera lens I'm going to end up, using for this video. So just bear with me. As the podcasts go on, I will look in the right place, okay? So to start off, this episode is going to be different from the other episodes that will be coming because this is a very personal episode and it's a raw episode and it's kind of me sharing this and making this the first episode is setting the foundation for Black Swan Theory, the community that I want to build here, and the kind of vulnerability that I want us to be able to express. I have my notes that I'm also looking at to the side. So again, my eyes gonna be everywhere, guys. But like I said, I really, really want this community to be a space where we transform the moments that break us into something that connects and heals us. This podcast I actually wanted to launch in August, but it is totally fine because there is no better time than the present, right? So, this episode, before I get started in that, in case this is your first video, I want to remind you guys what it means to be a black swan, right? So, a black swan is something or someone that is unpredictable, that changes everything, right? And if you look up the definition of what it means to be a black swan, which I have a YouTube video about that, like my own definition, but if you just check out the definition on YouTube, it does show you that it is, it's something that brings about unprecedented change, right? Whether that's in like human consciousness or whether that is in, things like the financial market. I definitely recommend if you feel you resonate with this, you want to be a part of my community, that you watch my YouTube video on what it really means to be a black sheep and what it means to be a black swan, because I am creating the definition of what it is to be a black swan, right? And I am moving that term forward for all of us because I think that is the best term to describe the amazing, unique, beautiful, yet misunderstood creatures that we are. So, like I said, this can be an unpredictable or unprecedented person, but it can also refer to an event, a black swan moment. And today I am going to be talking about the recent black swan moment that I had this year, and that is losing my mom. For me, losing my mom has been one of the ultimate black swan moments because when I started thinking about this concept and forming it, I knew that she was unwell. I knew that I needed to direct my energy and my focus and my voice into a platform that finally felt appropriate for me, right? And resonated with the message that I feel that I am here to bring and to share. Because I do content creation and stuff like that, but doing the UGC stuff and doing content creation, I've always felt like I've had a message beyond just influencing, if that makes sense. So what I want to touch on in regards to this, right, is like I said, how pivotal this moment was for me, how it cracked my world open, obviously, but also how nothing is ever going to be the same for me. It's when things like this happen that we find our deepest truths, right? that we are kind of forced to deal with where we are at, what that means to us, and what it is that we are going to make out of the circumstance. So, for me, when it comes to losing my mom, it's a lot to talk about because the relationship that I had with my mom, although I believe it to be very special, very cataclysmic, I also know that me and my mom had a complicated relationship. You know, we came from different cultural mindsets and ideologies and worlds, essentially. Even the age gap between me and my mom was pretty significant because my mom had me um, when she was pretty much 40 or like in her very early 40s, right? So that plus her, coming from not being an educated individual, educated in the Western system, not being born in the West, there were a lot of differences in our relationship that we had to overcome. And that is one of the things that makes my relationship with my mom so special and unique to me because I know the work that we did to love, understand, and respect each other from the beginning to the very end. Even though I knew that my mom was unwell last year, very unwell, it was very scary and difficult for me to consider that she would be passing away in a short amount of time. I wasn't unaware of the fact that she was declining rapidly, and I did actually sense this. But to be totally honest with you guys, I have never, gone through anything like this. My mom declined and became unwell so quickly. And last year, I was filled with a lot of fear, dread, confusion, guilt in caring for her and, trying to understand why this was happening, why she was declining like this, and what I could do, which it felt like there was nothing that I could do to make her better, to change things around, right? So there was a lot of pain that I went through last year that nobody really knows about unless, I've told you or you know me. But still, the level of pain that I was going through on every level last year was terrifying. And it caused me to behave in a way in which that I felt that I did not recognize myself because I was so filled with fear, anger, frustration, resentment towards my circumstances, even towards my mother, towards my other family members who I felt were not listening to me and understanding where I was coming from when I was expressing extreme distress with, the situation. Now I realize that these things that I was feeling, right? The way that I was feeling last year is not something that I can be ashamed of because whether I realized it or not, whether I was able to accept that or not, I knew that my mom was dying subconsciously, right? And I could feel it. I could feel her leaving. And this was a maddening experience. And this was very hard to accept into the conscious mind, you know? Um, but I say all of that to say that there is a lot that I learned despite the pain of last year, because I realized again that last year showed me never to doubt myself, never to doubt what I'm feeling, never to feel that I am, overreacting, because I know what I'm sensing. Even if to other people it appears that I have no reason to be behaving the way that I am, I know why I'm behaving the way that I am, because I know what I'm picking up on, because I know what I can sense, right? And I know myself deeply, intuitively. And no matter what that looks like to others, I am not going to abandon myself, to judge myself by others who do not even understand me, right? Because, like I said, guys, it was painful. It was not anything that I would ever want anybody else to experience. But at the same time, I talk about it and I share it, because if I have experienced it, then somebody may have experienced the same, maybe worse, maybe similar. And if I can sit here and talk to you and tell you what I have received and what I have understood from going through this, then I hope that it can help you to reflect on it for yourself and to take something away from it. Because losing a parent is something that we all know is like one of the biggest things in this life, right? That nobody really wants to feel or to experience. And we do see how people who have lost their parents, how it impacts them. Even our own parents, when, they lost their parents, which were our grandparents. Some of us were there and we saw how that impacted them and how we had to support our parents, right? So losing the person that has brought you into this world and into this life suddenly opens up a spotlight many times onto yourself in your own life, where you start to ask yourself, what is it that I am here for? What is the meaning? What is the purpose? What is my life about? For me, that it was so key, because of the differences that me and my mom shared. I was always there for her. And a lot of my life, I actually spent trying to support my mom, right? And to improve her life, her circumstances, to support her, because, she could not support herself when it came to, things that had to do with academia, administration, but also physical things, because it was just me and her, a 2-woman household, right? So somebody had to help to carry the weight, whether that was financially, emotionally, physically, whatever way you want to describe it. I was so set on trying to help my mom that even as she was declining, it became a very big focus, and I became very guilty in myself, very ashamed of myself for not having reached a more successful point in life where I could help her now, where I could have hundreds and thousands, maybe millions to give to doctors to figure out why, to try to reverse this, to make her life better, to make the end of her life as good as possible. I have realized that now that she is gone, the focus is on me more than ever. This is my life in its entirety. I am not here solely because of another person's life or to improve the life of one other person, right? I am here because of how I deal with life. That's why I'm still here today. And I truly believe, feel, and know that I am here for all of you, that I am here to be a gift to those like me who have felt alone, who have felt isolated, who have felt burdened from a young age with adult responsibilities and feelings, and who have struggled to understand themselves and sometimes understand this life, right? This is what I truly believe, and this is what I truly have received um, since losing my mom in July. Because, again, losing her was something that I was preparing for, but I was not ready for. And I did not realize how quickly it was coming. It changed everything about what it is that I thought that I was doing, because my focus was on, making her better, earning more money so I could do this and do that for her. And now that she is gone, the question suddenly becomes, what am I doing for myself? You know, what do I want? What would make me happy? What would make my life better? And for a long time, sometimes now, I still feel that those are not important questions for me to ask myself and to answer for myself, but they are. They are the most important questions. So, the reason why I believe that this message belongs here and should be the first message of Black Theory is because not only does it show you about me and help you to understand me as I'm going to continue to talk to you guys about various different topics, but it's about the community that I really am building here. Black Swan Theory is about embracing the unpredictable, the painful, and the transformative, right? And refusing to hide from it. I want this space to show that we can grieve out loud, we can heal together, and we can not feel ashamed of ourselves, of our authentic selves, of our genuine, raw selves, irrespective of how we are perceived by society, by our family and friends. Right now, there is nothing more that I want to do than sit here and talk to you guys and film this video. It's 10:47 Saturday morning. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Don't worry, I'm okay. I've had a tea. I'm gonna have breakfast after this. But my point is, nothing matters to me more than this today, right now. And there is nothing else that I would want to do, and there is nothing that can take me away from doing this right now. So, this has been the first kind of episode, and I would be more than happy to delve into this topic again if you guys have any kind of questions relating to this loss and my parental loss. I don't want to stay too long talking about everything like painful stuff, because that would be more like I'm just kind of like venting to you guys, and that's not really what this video is about. Like I said, I can talk more about other things, but I don't really want to be just sitting here boohoo crying. That's not what this video is about. So yeah, if you if you have lost a parent, if you've ever grieved a complicated relationship, or if you're carrying silent pain, silent and invisible pain, you are not alone, okay? I'm gonna cry, but yeah, you are not alone. This community is for you. It's for you, it's for us, and this is where our stories stop isolating us and start connecting us. Please don't go through it alone. Don't isolate yourself. I am here, and I'm not going anywhere. Like I said, this is the first episode, and there will be many more. Other topics will not be about, you see how I'm crying for you? See how I'm crying for you? Other episodes, will be about other things, a bit more challenging, a bit more edgy. But this one is about this community. It's about me and what I've been through and what I'm going through and pushing through to still make sure that there is a space for us to connect, to find each other, and to finally understand why we are the way that we are. There is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with how you've lived your life and how life has happened to you. You simply need to love yourself more, listen to yourself more, and put the focus on you more. Find spaces like this where you do feel understood and heard, and realize that your power is in recognizing yourself, your uniqueness, and your gifts that you bring to this world. You are a beautiful black swan, and no one can take that away from you. I love you guys so much. I think I did pretty good for my first podcast episode. I don't know why I thought this was going to be like hours and hours long, because it's not. We're done. But yeah, see you in the next video. Have a beautiful day, night, week, whenever you see this. And remember, this space is always here for you. Love you loads. Until the next one.